Thank you for joining us for another Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We are celebrating Teen Tech Week, so of course you can expect features of that nature. Plus, later on, you'll learn the importance of reading food labels and tracking what goes inside your body. The news is next.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, March 5, 2024. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is encouraging micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, to take advantage of financing support through the Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, to innovate their operations. Mr. Holness was speaking recently at the launch of Horton's Pharmacy RX Pack mobile app, which is a prescription medication management system. The pharmacy has benefited from support under the DBJ's Boosting Innovation, Growth and Entrepreneurship Ecosystem (BIGGE) program to develop the app. Customers are now able to order their prescription items online using the app. PM Holness reiterates that grant funding through the BIGGE program is foundational for the growth of businesses and for persons who are developing apps, games, animation, and other areas of technology.
The BIGGE program is designed to help innovation. Innovation is another important element of growth. It is also designed to help businesses transition to digital systems. So we have grants that help businesses to improve their computer systems, and we have grants to help businesses do what you have just done, include data technology in their business and to improve their business processes and properly engineer their business processes for efficient customer service.
Mr. Holness applauded Horton's Pharmacy on the bold step to engage the DBJ and expand their services. Chief Pharmacist Stafford Horton highlighted how the app allows persons in the diaspora to pay for the prescription medication needs of relatives who live in Jamaica.
It features various user-friendly online options such as prescription medication management, over-the-counter purchases, and several delivery choices. Our RX Pack mobile app includes a digital wallet. This is branded RX Plus. The RX Plus digital wallet provides access to convenient, secure, and quick payments for all pharmacy essentials.
The government is investing $1.2 billion in infrastructure and facilities to increase agricultural activities in rural districts. The work is being done to promote market access and climate resilience strategies for targeted beneficiaries in the tourism and agriculture industries. The specifics are included in the 2024-2025 estimates of expenditure under the Rural Economic Development Initiative 2. The project will provide drip irrigation facilities for farmers in Amity Hall, St. Catherine, and the Ebony Park Agro-Cooperative Society in Clarendon. The construction of greenhouses are also proposed for communities in St. Anne, St. Catherine, Clarendon, and Manchester. In addition, cold storage facilities will be established in Manchester and St. Elizabeth. The funding will also help to establish a tilapia fish hatchery and complete the restoration of the Hanover bee bottling facility. The Rural Economic Development Initiative 2 project is slated to run until September 2025 and is being implemented by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF. Work on the $60 million Minard Well replacement project is now underway following a groundbreaking ceremony last month. The project is expected to alleviate water woes by providing 2 million gallons of water per day to approximately 1,500 residents of Brownstown and surrounding communities in northwest St. Anne. The works include the drilling of the well to approximately 800 feet, the installation of perforated casing to facilitate water inflows, and well development and step test activities to verify the expected yield of 2 million gallons per day. Minister with responsibility for water, Senator Matthew Samuda, said the project is made possible through the National Water Commission due to fiscal improvement.
The restructuring of 15 billion Jamaican dollars of debt. Now, what that did was give, again, more space to continue with a heightened investment program. What does that investment program look like? Well, at any one moment, the Water Commission has 4.5 billion Jamaican dollars of works underway. And in a calendar year can pay out between $2.5 billion to $4 billion for completed works. That is since my time. That is unprecedented in Jamaica. That is why we have 22 major infrastructure projects underway in Jamaica now, and 40 minor water systems being executed or being developed by this National Water Commission.
Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck says measures are being considered to increase the number of court reporters to ease the delay in getting transcripts. One of the options being considered is facilitating free training for interested persons. Minister Chuck made the statement during the Canadian-funded Social Justice Project, SoJust, handover ceremony of equipment recently.
So in discussion with the head of the Justice Training Institute and the permanent secretary, we want to make it available for anyone who wants to be trained as court reporters, for it to be free. Once they have a certain quality or standard, professional standard.
Minister Chuck says he has also been in dialogue with the Minister of Finance to raise the level of compensation for court reporters so it becomes a meaningful career path.
And I say also that we need them in Parliament too. We utilize them, and also a number of tribunals use court reporters when they have hearings, and it's not easy for them to just build out a good audiovisual system. So the court reporters are usually very, very needed.
And finally, the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation has received a donation of $310,000 in support of its A-Stream program. The program provides sponsorship and mentoring for adolescent mothers who are enrolled at the foundation. This is to ensure that the mothers, along with the fathers, can complete their secondary education and advance to tertiary studies. The check was presented recently by the Panamanian Ambassador and Dean of the Diplomatic Corps in Jamaica, Dr. Lansford Douglas. Ambassador Douglas says the Diplomatic Corps is happy to share and provide funding in support of the teenage mothers, and there are further plans to provide healthcare support for students at the foundation. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Teaching is learn by doing. So students don't learn by you telling them what to do, but they actually are able to use that hands-on approach to learn about what it is that they're doing. So for example, we're teaching about light, and we talk about what is light, so you give them a little bit of a background. You find out what they know as well, and then you're now actually creating something. You're making a model, you're using art, you're using science, you're using technology. So you're able to integrate these different disciplines so that students can walk away with the different process skills. In order for them to create, they have to go through a process. They have to think, they have to problem solve, and that is how you get the critical thinking skills and the creativity coming out, these 21st century skills. That is how they're able to actually do it.
Teaching children STEAM education involves integrating science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics into an interdisciplinary learning experience. This fosters creativity and problem solving by having children engage in hands-on activities that also help them to develop holistically. We'll learn more next.
Let's go full steam ahead.
if you have the opportunity to get a STEM education, then you should, regardless of the field or the career choice. So even if you want to be a lawyer, the skills are transferable. So you still need to be a problem solver. You still need to be able to think critically. Employers are looking for graduates with STEM skills, with these 21st century skills.
Teaching future generations to think logically, critically, and focused on problem solving, all while grasping 21st century skills, is a challenge of a lifetime.
And the right policy to be put in place is to make sure that we are building schools that are going to be empowering our young people with science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
And of course, arts.
Because we believe that that is a space that we own and we can exploit for our economic and social development.
The new STEAM Academy being built at Dumby Holden in Bernard Lodge, St. Catherine, is not where it ends. STEAM is being infused in all aspects of public education, but the method modified to suit each environment. At the Alpha Primary School, a partnership with the private institution, STEM Builders Learning Hub, is expanding the aptitude and skills of children as young as age 6.
Little Einstein's program started in 2022, and it is out of the need to actually reach the students where they are at their different levels, and also to ensure that we start early. So this program primarily is for early childhood education institutions and for primary schools. So the program actually takes place once a week or twice, depending on the need. And we actually take the students through hands-on learning by them creating different things like robots, flashlights. So they're learning the theory, but they're also creating. Hi, I'm Cavell Hilton, CEO and founder of STEM Builders Learning Hub. We connect students to quality science, technology, engineering, and mathematics tutors, as well as resources, including our STEM activity box or science kits. STEM Builders Learning Hub started because we recognize the need to provide quality resources for students.
We have done helium balloons, an explosion, a flashlight, a glow-in-the-dark slide, and now we are building an air car.
I would love to expand the program to the upper school, especially as the children are moving out into secondary education. I believe they are now at that phase where they need to make a decision about their own professional development and also as innovators to create new jobs. So I am processing, putting it into the school. We just need to consider some of the resources we would need in order to do so.
One of the major benefits of enrolling children in STEAM education is the fact that it awards them the skills associated with the 4 C's of what is needed to excel in this 21st century: critical thinking, communication, creativity, and collaboration.
STEAM education is very inclusive because it encourages students to do hands-on activities, and the kind of question that students are asked to answer, they're not given the answer, so they would need to think about it. It allows them to experiment if they are wrong. It also gives them the time to go back, think about what they did wrong, and how they are able to correct it.
All right, so interesting story. Some years ago, my son is now an adult, he shared with me that he thinks school dumbed him, in quotes. When I spoke with him, he shared that he think he could have done much better, but the limitation of school caused him to do what was required, not what he could have done based on his potential. I was a grade 6 teacher and so was enthused about higher order thinking skills, and then I realized that for STEM, it afforded children to reason at a new level and to think outside of the box.
As it relates to artificial intelligence, AI, I'm optimistic about the future as it relates to it. And knowing everything, you have negative and positive. But I think the approach is for us not to fear the technology because it's here, whether we like it or not. And so my approach is to figure out how we can use it in our classroom in a safe way, and also for us to be able to not just be consumers of this technology, but that we try to also create things that will represent our perspective and our point of view from this side of the world, from a female, from a black person, from a Caribbean person.
Give our children a chance to be their greatest self. As Jamaicans, we see children by age and we say, no, I'm too young, you can't do that. However, what do we know? See a child as an empty slate, see a child as a blank computer. You input the data and look at what the computer will do. I believe that to an extent we have limited what they can, or we determine what they can do. Let us give them a chance to excel, let's give them the opportunity and watch them blossom, as I'm sure they will.
The goal of STEAM education is to foster the true innovation that comes with combining the mind of a scientist or technologist with that of an artist or designer and letting it work together for the greater good. So, how prepared are you in getting your child ready for STEAM education? It's already here. Get with the times and help put your child on the map with the skills of tomorrow.
Before the break, we witnessed children at the primary level experimenting and engaging in STEM or STEAM building activities. Now we'll see what students at the Vere Technical High School have developed in this field and what it has to do with agriculture.
Here we have a structured agricultural program. Students sit the subject at CSEC and at the CAPE level. It is divided into two groups, the animal and the crop production. So here at Vere, the students, they tried to use technology. So they came up with the robot, we call it an RIV, which is a remote irrigation vehicle. So instead of coming on the farm to do the watering, the fertilizing and the spraying, the technology itself, which is the RIV, does that job for the students. It eliminates them being here on a very frequent basis to get that done.
Yeah, I started this group when I was in grade 9, when we first entered the 4-H Tech Agriculture competition. We first designed a miniature chicken coop that was powered via wind turbine. Our project we have now is our RIV, which is a 3-phase project. We now are at phase 2. Phase 1 was our atmospheric water generator, which generated water for our greenhouse. Phase 2 is our robot that catches the water from the generator and distributes it to the plants within the greenhouse. SRC competition, which is the Scientific Research Council competition, we won that competition 3 years in a row. 2019 was actually a relief because we won 2018 with phase 1 of the project. So we actually won 2019 with phase 2 of the project. What we want to do with the robot now is to allow the robot to specify how much humidity is within the soil and tell what type of pest is on the plant.
The RIV consists of 3 sections: the watering and the electronics and the movement. For certain vehicles, it's hard to maneuver through certain obstacles, so we designed the robot to work on a very rugged terrain. So it has 6 wheels. The watering is set in a way where it won't damage plants during the watering. So we take specific measurements regarding the gap that is working with, and then our electronics is powered by a solar panel that we place on the back of the robot, which does the charging for the batteries. So while it's working, you don't have to worry about it running out of power during the process. So as it does its job, it charges, and you get a steady feedback on your cell phone regarding what it's doing, how far it has reached in the water and our fertilizing. The most unique factor is that you can leave it in your farm anywhere, and you can stay at work, in your house, anywhere, and get live feedback regarding the statistics of the robot, battery percentage, location, how far it has reached in the process of water and our fertilizing.
We're trying to engulf the younger generation into the association because we don't want that when we move on, the club and the legacy that we have created die out. So we incorporate the younger ones and so forth, teach them what we have already garnered, especially the experiences from what we have. We take some of the younger ones with us so that they can get the experience as well and help their fellow young mates up. If you're interested in science and technology, it is a field that you have to have patience, because everything won't go the way that you want it to. So you have to develop patience, you have to be a good listener, you have to learn to observe, because through these skills you'll be able to advance your skills, because no one knows everything, so each one teach one. So when you have these skills now, you'll be able to learn faster, you'll be able to learn better, and in the long run you'll be able to develop your own ideas based on what you've learned along the way.
Public passenger vehicle operators and commercial carriers, renew your road license online. It's as easy as 1-2 click. Visit the Transport Authority website at www.ta.org.jm. Choose your license type and click Apply Now. Sign in or create an account with your email address and complete the application process, uploading all relevant documents. Make payment using a debit or credit card. Once your application is approved, the Transport Authority will email you to collect your sticker. Pick up your sticker in office or utilize our courier service. Once the sticker is collected, your digital road license will be emailed to you. For more information, call the Transport Authority toll-free at 888-991-5687.
When was the last time you read the food labels on the groceries that you buy weekly? Well, maybe after watching this next feature, you'll develop a new beneficial habit.
Your body needs energy, and we call this our daily requirements of calories. And for Jamaican men, it's about 2,100. For Jamaican women, it's about 1,900 calories per day. The calorie is just a unit of energy to say how much energy you need to get around your daily activities and so on. If you're more active and you're not in a desk job, then you're going to burn more calories. If you go to work, when you get up in the morning, you sit in a car and you go to work, you sit at a desk all day, and then lunchtime come, you order and they deliver the food to you, and then you eat that and you go back and sit again, and then you sit in a bus or a car and you go home. So you're sitting all day, you're not doing much, versus somebody who's on the road and they're walking around or they're standing all day like the teachers and nurses and so on. Then you'll realize the difference in how much energy you will need. And so if you are more active, you should be eating a little bit more. But the problem is that everybody is eating as if they're working in sugarcane fields, chopping cane all day. And this is the problem. So we consume more calories than we are burning off. And every day, if we keep on consuming calories, you need 3,500 calories to make 1 pound of fat. One soda, if you look on the serving size for these things, these juices and so on, you'll think that, oh, it's just 110 calories. But how many servings come in that container? About 3. Or 2.5. So you can easily drink 300 calories like that. And if you do that 5 times for the day, that's 1,500 calories. You almost don't need to eat anything else for the rest of the day. So the excess calories come in the body, and then the body begins to store them as fat. And then you put on more weight and more weight. You have to watch the pastries and the breads and all of these things that people, even when they're vegetarian, they still have a lot of these little snacks and so on. These things are full of calories. You know that one of the cream crackers is about 450 calories. Water crackers is about 500. Yeah, nobody don't want to hear. I never want to believe it either. But this is what you get, the pack that you get, and a lot of people eat them with butter, right? So can you imagine how many calories you're putting in your body with one little snack? And you don't talk about the tea yet, with the milk, the condensed milk and the sugar that you have to have that with. All of these things, they add up without you even knowing.
The ingredients label will go from the most to the least in the product. So if the product is making a claim, look at where that claim is. If it is 1, 2, or 3, because if it falls less than that, you're really not getting value for your money, right, in terms of content. The nutrition facts. One of the first things you're going to look at is the servings per container, and this says 2.5, which means it's 2.5 servings in the container. You are not supposed to drink it, you must share it, right? And then you're going to look at your calories. It says 90 calories, but it's 90 calories per serving, and it's 2.5 servings. So it's 2.5 times 90, which comes out to about 225. And then you come down and you look at your sugar, and it's 22 grams of sugar, but it's per serving. So the entire container is 2.5 times 22, which works out to about 55, 56 if my maths is right. And there's 4 grams equal 1 teaspoon, so you end up with about roughly 14 teaspoons of sugar. And that is, you use this template for all the products that have nutritional facts on them. This is 14 teaspoons of sugar, and the American Heart Association recommends that from adult male, you're supposed to consume 9 teaspoons of added sugar per day. For an adult female, it is 6 teaspoons of added sugar per day. And for a child, it's less than 6 teaspoons per day. And a child here, we're talking about from 2 to 18 years old. Don't look at a container and judge it by the size alone. It's very important to read the label so you know exactly. And look at it, 220 calories. For parents, we're asking them, to be very mindful of how much sugar they're giving their kids, right? Because it impacts upon their health in the long term.
We try to provide information to parents and guardians, teachers, anyone about the alternatives to these sugary drinks, because really you don't need them in your diet. You can get enough sugar that you need from the foods that you eat, the carbohydrates, which are converted to sugars in your body, which give you energy. So some of the alternatives are, of course, water. It's the best one, but there's also fresh fruit juices. So blending your own juices without adding sugar, and you'll have the natural sugars and fiber from the fruits. There's coconut water. It should be, you should actually drink this in moderation because it does have quite a high sugar content, but it is a good alternative. For the children, freezing the juices into popsicles or ice cubes so that it's more interesting for them to drink, as well as doing infused water. So infused water is it's a process where you cut up your favorite fruit or vegetable or even mint leaves or aloe. You place it in water overnight so that the vitamins, the minerals, all the goodness from the fruits and vegetables are infused into the water, and you can have that. It's not sugar sweetened, and it gives you the vitamins and minerals that you need throughout the day. And then for children, there's unsweetened milk. So not flavored milks like the chocolate milks, but unsweetened milk doesn't have a high sugar content, and it also will give the children the calcium that they need for their growing bodies as well.
We've come to the end of our program, but before you go, remember this. Don't waste your precious time on this earth fearing the inevitable. Instead, cherish each moment to the fullest and live your best life. Embrace the good and the bad, for they both equate to this journey called life. You may visit our website, gis.gov.jm, to catch up on this show and more. It was indeed my pleasure being here with you today. I'm Adrian Atkinson, thanking you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.